Dear friends, brothers, and sisters across the pond, greetings from Bratislava, Slovakia. First, let me thank you for this opportunity to share a few words about our life here, and then I'll have a short message from the Gospels. So, today is the 40th day of the third lockdown that we've had over the last year. 40th day. The situation has been very bad in Slovakia. Most hospitals are overcrowded. The death rate at the moment is one of the highest in the world when counting per capita. Think New York in the spring last year. Students have not been to school in person since September, and people are not allowed to meet unless from the same household. It's very bad. We are indeed living in difficult and strange times. And this has been hard, and I'm sure you felt it all. Being tired, frustrated, lonely, feeling sad, overwhelmed, perhaps even angry or stuck in some way. I hear you. Johanna and I and many others have experienced many of these feelings at various times. As you know, Johanna and I, we are both very extroverted people, so the lack of in-person interactions we filled with living the online life, worship, teaching, preaching, Bible study, prayer, mentoring, soul care, fellowship, friendship, birthdays, shopping, Netflix, of course. If there is some time left and our little Timko is asleep. Life on a screen of our computers, life on our smartphones. We long for in-person relationships, in-person interactions again. And yet, in many ways, it has been a huge blessing. We were able to visit online with so many of you, something we haven't done so often before the pandemic started. Our Bible meetings and worship grew beyond the borders of Bratislava to 4 other cities of Slovakia, plus Prague in Czech Republic and one family from Vienna in Austria. And we have a couple of new ideas for 2021. Still, we are fully aware we need to be careful about the right balance. The balance I'm talking about is the balance of online and offline life, the balance of action and contemplation, the balance of performance and prayer, the balance of work and rest. A great man of prayer, Thomas Merton, has put it this way: to allow oneself to be carried away by a multitude of conflicting concerns, to surrender to too many demands, to commit oneself to too many projects, to want to help everyone in everything, is to succumb to violence. I love this quote by Tom Merton. It reminds me so much of the beautiful balance that we see in the life of Jesus. One example of many. I'm sure you remember the story when Jesus fed the multitude of 5,000. It's recorded in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 6. In this beautiful story, Jesus found time and space for other people, but also time and space for his Father and himself. So I would not read the story right now, just retell it in my own words. When the disciples came back to Jesus from a missionary journey, as you remember, Jesus found time for soul care and mentoring of his closest friends. He took them to find some solitude and rest after they finished an exhausting teaching assignment. But the crowds were pursuing them. They were pursuing Jesus and the disciples. And so when they came and they found Jesus again with the disciples, he looked at the crowd at them with compassion, for they were like sheep without the shepherd. And then, because of this compassion, Jesus found time to teach the multitudes. And after the teaching, the multitudes, the crowds, were hungry and exhausted. And so Jesus found time to feed them and to multiply the bread and the fish. Jesus found time to sit and eat with them. Yet after this physically, emotionally, and you can say socially as well, and spiritually exhausting day, he found time for three other things. He found time to be alone. As you remember, he sent his disciples away in peace. After spending the whole day with other people, he recharged emotionally. He also found time for walking and exercise. After a day of standing and sitting, teaching and eating, he walked to a nearby mountain. He took care of his body. And finally, he found time to pray, to spend time in silence and solitude, only him and the Father, embraced by the love of the Spirit. Jesus needed time and space to reflect on Father's words, to rejuvenate in God's love, to recharge in the presence of the Spirit, and to remember who he was and where he was headed. Jesus ministered with compassion, mentored with care, thought with insight, and provided so generously. Yet also he, God being man, Jesus Christ, needed balance. If Jesus could afford to take a break for exercise, prayer, and rest, I think you and I could too. May you find peace and joy knowing this. God bless you.